Hi guys, Legend Vipers here. Welcome to a little bit of a kind of a review video, if you would, prior to what is to come. And today we're going to be discussing Resident Evil 8. So, just to clarify, I want to show you guys today's date is Wednesday, May 5th. It's not going to pick that up as well as I thought it was. Maybe that'll pick up better. Nope, because this camera is garbage. It's not going to pick up. But today's date, I'll just read it to you prior, is Wednesday, May 5th, 2020 at 11:35. The reason why I'm telling you the date is because I want you guys to understand that I have not played the game yet. The game is not out yet. It is coming out in another 2 days. But I kind of wanted to give a little bit of a going into it type thing, like kind of like what I think the story is going to be. So this is like my thoughts before playing Resident Evil 8. That's probably what it's going to be titled. So just bear with me. So I have played the demo. I didn't play it on the channel. I was going to, but I decided against it, just to play it the whole game for you guys here on the channel. I'm going to attempt to record it in a certain way. I hope it works out well, because the way I'm going to do it is probably going to be complete garbage, but I'm praying to God it works for you guys, because I'm going to try to record it for you guys on the channel so we can have some fun with it. Because this game has been pretty appealing to me. I've played, like I said, I played the demo. I played the village and the castle demo. I got to a certain point where I was just like, okay, this game's got a lot to do. There's a lot to discuss. There's a lot of story to learn. And there's overall a lot of things tying into each other. So let me just jump right into the basis of the video here on what we're going to discuss. Resident Evil story plot as a whole, and how I think it's going to go. So we already know that Ethan Winters is the main protagonist once again. Same protagonist from Resident Evil 7. I have played prior games, so I already know the whole story arc of everything. We know he's the protagonist returning. We know Mia is returning. And we know it's been about 5 years after the Baker estate incident with Evelyn and Mia and Ethan and all that at the Baker estate. We know that's already long gone. It's been 5 years. We know Chris Redfield is working for Umbrella. Well, not evil Umbrella. This is the cleanup crew, if you would, for Umbrella. This is like Umbrella taking a whole new turn to things. They're not creating bioweapons, they're trying to destroy them, which I still think is kind of fishy, and we might learn a little bit about that in 8. So we're going to kind of see what's going to happen with 8. But the story arc kind of goes like this. Ethan and Mia have been living 5 years happily together. You know, they've moved on from Resident Evil 7. They've had a kid, and the kid is going to be a big factor in this. I don't know what the whole purpose of Chris going after them is yet, but we know that Chris is going to come after Ethan Winters and Mia. He then takes the child and, takes them away. Now, this is kind of like spoiler, but not spoiler. Like I said, this is just my thoughts on the game. I don't know what this game's going to be yet. I don't know what's going to happen. We know that Mia is going to be killed at some point in the game because of certain videos showing that Chris is going to kill Mia, as well as Ethan saying, "You killed Mia, now finish the job and kill me," type thing. We don't know the full story with Chris yet on what his intentions are and what he's doing. We do know that there's this village that is kind of run by like this kind of like religious cult that's also based around Umbrella. Like, it's really confusing to me because I don't understand the whole how Umbrella ties into this village that's been built for years and maybe decades, and how Castle Dimitrescu ties into all this. And I apologize if I'm butchering Dimitrescu, because I don't know how to pronounce it. I saw freaking Markiplier pronounce it Dimitrescu, so that's how I'm going to pronounce it. So I apologize if that's not the right way to pronounce it. But we know that this family, Lady Dimitrescu's family of like her 3 daughters, her brother, and her, living in this castle, along with Mother Miranda, who kind of protects this village of sorts. Almost it's kind of giving me Bioshock vibes, like Bioshock Infinite vibes, like the village, like Bioshock Infinite, where it's like everyone's in the sky happy, there's no problems, they don't bother nobody, but they fear the false shepherd. and it's like the false shepherd is that child, or it's Ethan coming into the village, and it just completely goes downhill. There's zombies, there's werewolves, it looks like there's vampires. Like, this is like straight out of like the movie monsters of like the Golden Age or the Silver Age. Like, this is like Frankenstein meeting the Wolfman or something. It's bizarre because it's not zombies. It doesn't seem like zombies. It seems like werewolves and vampires, because Dimitrescu's a vampire, and I think her daughters are too. But the bigger question is, were they always like this? Based on prior knowledge of playing the demo, there are photos that really kind of indicate that they were normal before, that they weren't vampires, they were regular humans, and they became more immortal over time, probably thanks to Umbrella. So Ethan kind of gets caught in the crossfire trying to go save his daughter at this castle, and while he's there, he learns more about this village that's kind of been hidden in the woods up in the mountains for years, that's never been discussed whatsoever. But at the same time, Castle Dimitrescu has actually not been faithful to their word. They think, it's a happy-go-lucky place. They think that they've been all goody two-shoes. They believe in everything that Mother Miranda says and stuff like that, and there hasn't been any issues. When you start to explore the castle, you find some dark shit. You find like torture chambers, prison cells, blood everywhere. Now, I don't know if that's prior to before them becoming vampires, or that's like literally right after. And if so, how long has it been since the Dimitrescu's have been doing this? How many years has it been? Because this game obviously takes place many, many years later. But is it going to be like the Baker story, where it was like 3 years, where over a course of 3 years things kind of snowballed down into this chaos that we see in 8? Or is it going to be more like it's been centuries that this has been going on behind the scenes, but has not been seen until Ethan discovers it in 8? Do we know that yet? I'm not quite sure. Not to mention, we have this village that have all these townsfolk in it that are just normal. The most normalest people in the game. They have no clue what's going on. They're just as blind as Ethan. They don't know what's going on. They're more concerned that, why is Mother Miranda not protecting us? That's another thing. We don't know who this Mother Miranda is. For all we know, or for all I know personally, it might as well just be someone working for Umbrella. It might be like a T-virus or some type of a virus that's been gone amok, that was put into someone who is Mother Miranda and has created this most powerful being, and they need like some certain sacrifice of Ethan's kid to kind of perform this ceremony that we hear so much about from Dimitrescu. But while this is going on, Ethan's just going all over the place. He's encountering things that are just beyond belief. Things that are just out of this world, just batshit crazy. Different from when it was with the Bakers, because this is on a whole nother level. Whereas the Baker farm was just like a little estate in Louisiana, this is a freaking this is a castle. This isn't even a mansion. This is a castle. This is why I think this game is going to have so much to do, and there's going to be so much story, because we don't just have the prior village to worry about that we have to explore. We have the freaking mansion, and the mansion is freaking huge. Now, we probably won't be exploring all of the mansion, but there's a lot that they show in these trailers and in the demo that prove that this place is gigantic, and there's going to be a lot of story to tell based on this, and there's going to be a lot of, vampires and werewolves and whatever the hell, secrets dug underground for so many years that they're just going to dig up, but it's just going to be completely crazy, because in reality, Resident Evil has never disappointed me with any game. Well, maybe some. But for the past couple of games they've been releasing, 7 was a great game. I like the idea of it. I like having to revamp the series in a first-person style. I dig that. Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake, they were good. I liked them. They weren't horrible. They were not horrible at all. I didn't mind them. Having a different camera angle was nice, and having the ability to kind of have it all kind of be remastered in a nice new RE engine touch was nice. So that was nice. So that's why I kind of have good hopes on Resident Evil 8, and I think it's going to be a really good game. They haven't disappointed us with showing us how the process is going. And the story arc of it is going to be a big story to tell, because there's going to be so much freaking lore that's going to be tied into this Dimitrescu mansion, the village, and Umbrella. So we don't have a clue yet, really. But the story arc, I think, is going to go, Ethan Kids gets abducted. Chris is like planning some scheme with the child or whatever, or he's trying to set up something for Umbrella. Maybe he's completely turned. Maybe he's actually been infected by Umbrella and they're using him against Ethan now. And they're sending Ethan in there as like a guinea pig to kind of test something or do something with him. Who knows? Because they're obviously performing some ritual or some ceremony with Ethan's child, and Ethan is trying to go get them while along the way encountering this village that has been infested and overrun with all these vampires and werewolves and stuff like that. And these town folk are scared for their lives. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what happened. Because in the trailer, they're like, Mother Miranda was supposed to protect us. What happened? Why is Mother Miranda not helping us? There's something darker behind that. So then Ethan will go through whatever, and he'll get captured a whole bunch, and Lady Dimitrescu will show up, kind of give him the lowdown on what's going on piece by piece here and there. And we're going to have to be the ones to solve it. And this is kind of like my end game theory on what's going to happen. It's going to end where it's like, end game's going to be like we face off against Mother Miranda or something, or Lady Dimitrescu. It's going to be like an epic fight. There's going to be an alternate ending where it's like we either save our child or we lose our child. It's going to be divided into two. That's how I think it's going to go. Because they did it with freaking Resident Evil 7 where you choose Zoe or Mia. And choosing Zoe is the wrong choice, whereas choosing Mia is the correct choice to set up the scheme for the next games and so on and so forth. But a lot of people are saying, like, why did they give us that choice in 7 when we knew right away, like, 8 was going to happen and Mia and Ethan's story is still continuing? I don't have a clue. But honestly, that is kind of like my preference for what's going to happen with 8. Like I said, we don't have a lot of lore to go on about at the moment because the game isn't out yet. This is just prior knowledge of what I think is going to happen. Chris is obviously turning evil, it seems, or something like that, or Umbrella is really going against him. And, Chris is kind of just forced into this kind of like guilt trip of just, I need to do the right thing or something like that. Like, there is something bigger going on with Chris, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen. Because Chris has been against Umbrella from the very beginning, and then he starts working with them, and now all of a sudden there's this like dark, twisted side of Chris Redfield we haven't seen yet. So that's going to be interesting to see. And of course, our only reoccurring character that we have at this point is Ethan, because Mia gets killed off pretty quickly into the story, it seems. I mean, it might be one of those things where Mia and was it Rose is his daughter's name? Rose get kidnapped or whatever. They get taken into the village. Ethan goes after them or whatever. He finds Mia, and then Chris kills Mia, and then it's just end of the fucking road for Ethan. He's so done because in the trailer he's like, or in the demo he's like, why does everyone keep dying on me? Why does this keep happening? Like, poor Ethan is suffering from this. These attacks and shit. After 7, it's like this poor guy just wanted to live happily with his girlfriend. He wasn't expecting to be taken hostage by a crazy redneck family in Louisiana, and then 5 years later get sucked into this this castle up in the mountains with this village with even more dark shit. Poor Ethan, man. This poor guy, he's done nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with Ethan. He's just sucked into this BS, and he doesn't have any way of escaping it. That's literally the feel. We need some R in chat for Ethan Winters, please. Some rip in the chat, some F in the chat, boys. This guy, he's been through the ringer. He can't just be happy. There's always something that has to be interrupting him. But anyways, guys, that is my prior knowledge of Resident Evil 7. That's what I think is going to happen. When the game comes out, we'll see if I'm right or wrong. Because honestly, half the time I do stuff like this, I'm usually pretty wrong. But who knows? Maybe I'm closer than I think. So I know it's just brief stuff. I know it's not like a full-on story of what's going to happen. But I don't like putting too much of a story into it, because I'm going to build my expectations up that that's what's going to happen, that's supposed to happen, and then when it doesn't happen, I get kind of upset, like, oh, I thought I guessed that right, but I just give myself kind of like a ballpark estimate of like, okay, this is where it starts, this is the middle of it, this is where it ends. Kind of a good preference there, because based off of the demos and the game trailers and such, that's all we can put together for now. We got 2 more days to kind of figure out any last-minute lore prior to the game's release, before it comes out, and then we can put all of our theories on hold, and we can just play the game and find out the full story on our own. But I will hopefully be able to play it for you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, go ahead and drop a like. Leave a comment down below. What do you think Resident Evil 8 is going to be? Obviously, don't go play the game and then put a comment down here. But prior to this, what do you think the game's going to be like? I want to know. I want to hear from you guys. So leave your comments down below. I'll check them out. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Adios.